Hey guys, HappyCattyCrypto here, and welcome back to the channel. So the Commonwealth has had some kind of like moronic update recently where it's deciding to show everything just on the initial just like browsing sections of each different discussions tab, so to speak. So just ignore the clown mode that someone's put this into at the moment. It's kind of irritating because you have to scroll past all of this stuff that you don't want to see to get to what you want to see. But what has really caught my attention here is, and what I'm wanting to do is kind of explain the issues with all of these different kind of like ideas, these websites, these people who want to create unofficial kind of like Terra Classic systems. And what I want everybody to do is kind of look at the historical basis of our blockchain, and every single person, right, who's been given some kind of power over others, some way to control the chain. They've actually gone out and controlled the chain, whether it be recently these API keys that were custom and then being told, well, if you want a correct supply, you can go create them yourself, go do it yourself. It's not very cash money, so to speak, but this has happened many times before, whether it's been updates that have been withheld from the blockchain or the previous Commonwealth being used as a political racist tool against other people. So something for me is a lot of these I already know before I get to the bottom of it, although I have read through all of this obviously, is that they're going to ask for funding in some way, shape or form. And after that funding, they're also going to let you know that there's a running cost to this thing, that there's going to be monthly infrastructure costs that need to be covered. And for me, someone who runs multiple metric systems, LUNC wallet system, all of these different sites, which are more or less just unofficial Terra Classic website systems, they're there, they're available. There's no running costs. We're not going to be using it as a bargaining or brokering chip and kind of saying to you, well, we've got all of these running costs and servers and it costs this much. What really, really scares me of all of these different things, and it doesn't matter who it comes from anymore, in my opinion, is that this could always be used as a levy of control over this blockchain. And it could be used to more or less put the people behind this in a position where they're heavily recognized as the official Terra Classic website development team and all of these different things. We as a blockchain that are decentralized, we have nobody at the helm that legally owns this thing, need to be very, very, very careful when it comes down to sites like this, because David himself, throughout this, he points out the fact that if you go to CoinMarketCap and then you click website and you go for any of these social links, you're taken to TFL. But what he hasn't added in, and this is more or less just probably not to cause any friction, is if you do actually get to the point of getting to TFL's groups, they send you to one of two places. They send you to Vegas's group or they send you to Terraport's group. Okay, so this sort of, oh, we're losing potential investors in a crypto environment to people like TFL. We're not. What we're doing is actually losing them to people like Terraport, and they think to themselves, well, why would I get involved in this crazy chain that doesn't have any leadership? I don't really know a lot about LUNC at this point. Terraport's actually looking a lot more appetizing to me. It's got a person who's in charge of it all. It's safe. They've got a DEX. They've got the swapping I need. It's at that point, right, that users aren't going to TFL, because TFL have the exact same as what we have, plus a little bit more. The inherent risks are what is buried far inside these links at these points of call. So currently it being like this isn't an issue for me, because the only people that have been able to privatize on it is Terraport and Vegas. And this has always been like this from the very beginning. They're treated very differently. It's a very peculiar situation from like the point of view of standing on the outside, so to speak, but that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles at the moment, and kind of, I guess, the way that you, the community, want things to be, so to speak. So like I was saying, going through this without boring you, they're talking about all of the risks, the management. They've basically broken down absolutely everything, which is just very strange, very peculiar, to put it all in so much depth of a lot of stuff that's just not really too relevant, but they wanted to put it in there anyway. So as you can see here, we have got a funding strategy, and to fund this, they're putting through donations. They want you to donate. They want other people to donate towards this, and it's therefore going to fund itself, so to speak. But once again, this is a very, very peculiar situation because we have so many websites. We've got so many different wallet infrastructures. There's like 4, 5, maybe 6 different wallet infrastructures you can use. There's multiple different sites. There's so many different places. And I just don't think spinning up another one for somebody else to privatize off is a good thing. And then once again, right, this all comes with like running costs. So this has an additional costs after the website is launched, which will be the hosting costs, monthly or annual. You'll have costs related to the further development of the websites and costs associated with repairing the website if any errors occur. And we'll kind of put ourselves, from my perspective, in a situation where people like Terra Rebels were keeping the community pool dry, but dry enough so that there's nothing else we can afford each and every month. We've got way out of that now, but we were in that position previously, and that position was very harsh, where all we could do was just pay Terra Rebels, pay the L1 team, and then there's nothing left afterwards. And adding one more team was what really pushed it all over the edge, so to speak. Now, with all of this being said, right, what do I think about this website? I think it's a great idea. I think anybody should go out and create a website, but these estimated costs are pretty substantial. You know, all of this stuff that's in here is pretty substantial for something that we already have, right? Something that people like Straff, people like myself, are just providing this for free. There are no running costs. There are, but we're not putting that on you because it was our decision to do this and push it forward. And you can access all of the official links, so to speak, on these systems. You can get to the official Commonwealth, you can get to the doc system, and I just don't understand this, so to speak. What's more irritating at the moment is the Commonwealth layout. So if the people who are behind the Commonwealth, which would be Natty Pat and all of those people, if you could go in, take a look and make some changes to get all of this shrunk down again, so we don't have to scroll through absolutely everything when going on the all tab. Because what I'm seeing a lot at the moment is nobody's posting anything in governance and proposals where they should be. They're just posting everything in all now. And it's just getting very confusing. People are not seeing stuff and the information's not getting to where it should be. So like I was saying, we've got some pretty viable points here when you break this thing down, with the whole kind of them pointing at the idea that we're losing investors to this. And if I was to give my honest opinion, if we're losing investors, it's because of the validators who are double noding, network noding, not giving back to the chain, that are pillage and plundering, validators that are not doing anything, that are really slowing down the system, people who are fudding very decent projects and just being a general nuisance to this blockchain. I think those are the people that are pushing people away every day. And I really do think it boils down to all of those different little things, because it wasn't all like this before. We had all of the BS, we had all of the crap, the junk, the ups, the downs, the factions, the cutting in halves again. We had all of that. But what we didn't have was all of these validators, double noding, network noding, doing all of these different things. I'm pushing forward throughout all of this and just trying to knuckle down and get on with Penguin Island, and pump out more things and think about more tools that we need. Something on my mind at the moment is more or less getting a team together to fix the Astroport contracts so we can have Classic Port, so to speak, which is just there on chain. If we can fix it, we can open up the liquidity pools again. It's kind of already there for us to play with, so to speak. So it could just be something where we open it up again, we pay to get it fixed, and then we just give it to you, the community, kind of like what we've done with LUNC Dash over time and the Autocompound module and all of those other silly little things, so to speak. But this in itself poses a very, very big danger, because once again, it puts you, the community, in a position where you could pay for this, right? In the same way that you paid for all of Hexagon's equipment. And people sit there go, no, we didn't. No, we didn't. Yeah, we did. We paid for all of their equipment, and now they are aiming to be like the all nodes of the cosmos, right? So all of that money we funded them with, the machinery stays with them. It's, that wouldn't happen with a proper job, with a proper contract. If the company had given you laptops and machinery, you would have had to given all of that back. So it really does go to show, like, kind of, if you start to break things down, you look into things deeper, that everybody's kind of just like very desperate to bring something forward, instead of going, well, inherently we need more projects, inherently we need more people building, inherently we need the validators to stop double noding and network noding. We need people to go back and revert to one node each. We need new validators on board. We need more slots for newer, lower people to get on board. And inherently, these are all of the problems that are currently, like, in my line of sight, what I'm seeing as being the issue. Whereas a lot of people are like, what can we do to pump everything really quickly? And whether it comes down to market manipulation or someone wanting to repeg USTC again, it's no one's looking at these real key problems. Whereas if we just bring projects, we bring new people, we bring new transactions, we look better, right? And we act better, we're going to attract way more people. We're going to attract more investors, more projects. We're going to attract more volume. And everything on this blockchain equates out into burns. So, like, people are like, oh, Jay, is it play to burn? Yes, everything on this blockchain is play to burn. I wake up in the morning, I send a transaction to my friend, I just burnt some coins. You burn some coins, you just burnt some coins. The transaction, but everything burns coins on this blockchain. It gets ridiculous that every single thing that you do equates out into a transaction, which equates out into volume, equates out into price movement, and it also equates out into burns. So if you just hit on that one simple thing of getting new projects, getting new investors, and getting volume and getting interest back in this chain, you're going to have a lot more there. So whereas I see the bigger issue that, we've covered this many times before, you go into the website takes you to TFL, you go to TFL, and TFL are like, this isn't the Lunar Classic group. You can join one of these two official Lunar Classic groups and you can get help here from the official teams. That is a bigger issue to me. That's a far bigger issue, and that is not included in this, yet it takes 2 minutes to get to that conclusion. So once again, they've put a lot of information in here, but they've left key information out to benefit others, or to not kind of create friction between themselves and another person, to keep themselves as neutral as possible. And sadly, because everybody's trying to remain as neutral as possible on this blockchain, nobody's getting checked. Like, you haven't got that friend when you're acting like an idiot, you're being stupid, you're being loud, you're doing something you shouldn't be, and your friend's going to, you know what, mate, calm down. Let's just calm down. We've all got that friend, and we've all been in that position. And there's many times I've thought afterwards, I'm so glad I had a friend there to kind of spot check me and make me remember who I am. We don't have that on this blockchain. We've got developers that don't want to say anything to people that are causing problems, yet they'll bicker behind the scenes. And something that's really hilarious, and I'm glad I'm not part of the validator group, is just watching them all kind of like attack each other. So they're all attacking me until I went away for 7 days. And because they didn't have a common enemy to unite against, they all just kind of turned on each other. And now it's just watching them like call each other scammers, and no, you're the scammer, and oh, you've done this and you've done that. It's like everybody's done something at this point. And instead of like sitting there bickering, you could all just go, okay, we're not going to do this silly stuff no more. I'm going to stop doing that. You should stop doing that. We'll all stop doing that. And it should just stop, and it will. But those are the people that can make that change. But more importantly, you, the developers, and all of these other delegates and validators can hold these people accountable. They can be held accountable in the same way you held Binance accountable, in the same way that you held many of us accountable for a theoretical paid per job system. So I think this is all interesting stuff. It gets me in a position where I like to think a lot about these things. I like to look at the left, like to look at the right, but more importantly, I like to just look at the facts and kind of what I'm seeing straight up. And not so much the Occam's razor side of things, but just seeing it for how it literally is and for what it literally is. We have so many of these sites. It just seems like a fruitless, pointless, boring endeavor for somebody to possibly capitalize in, like Terraport are, like Vegas is, like all of these different people, specifically those who are in direct communication with Genuine Labs and those of us who are not. It's a really peculiar situation. But let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think we should have another website? Do you think we should inherently introduce more risks for more people to possibly capitalize on these things and use it to their own benefit? I'd like to know what you think. If there's any meme coins you'd like me to cover, let me know. My biggest meme coin I'm in at the moment would definitely be Ponky. If you're not involved in Ponky, we've been involved in Ponky since 5 mil market cap. And I mean, it's got to be the next SHIB in my opinion. Video coming on that later today, so keep an eye out for it. I'll be doing a video on these USTC repeg proposals that are up and the USTC staking as well, which is a very interesting topic and subject. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. But other than that, guys, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.